how's it going? This is Julio, Installation Director here at Best Air Conditioning and Plumbing Repair. Today we've got 6 of our leads here at the company that basically perform all our installs. We're going to go ahead and introduce each other. We'll start off with Brendan Moy, right?
You just introduced me.
Exactly. Introduce yourself, man.
So like Julio said, my name's Brendan. I'm a lead installer here at Best, and I come in peace.
Hey.
Mi nombre es Ernie. Soy líder instalador aquí en Best.
Hey.
Hello, my name is Lenny. I'm one of the lead installers here at Best Air.
My name is Balin, another lead installer.
My name is Brian, lead installer.
I'm Christian, lead installer.
University of San Diego.
Simone. South.
All right. So again, going over a couple questions. We're going to start off basically with what are the typical tasks that you guys perform on a daily basis as an HVAC installer?
Load up equipment.
Load up equipment. What about it? Tell us about loading up equipment.
That's what we do in the mornings before we head out to the jobs. Load up equipment in our vans.
Okay.
Get everything going, materials.
All right. So you guys typically, obviously have all your equipment here at the shop, right?
Yeah, we have our own warehouse in the back there. So first thing in the morning, we come here, we find out what job we're going to get. Luckily, our warehouse guys, they're pretty good about having everything staged. So we just double check, make sure all of our stuff is correct before we head out, and then head out to the job site.
How do you guys prioritize and plan your work schedule for the installations? Of course, I know that I'm the installation director, so I'm kind of here early in the morning. I kind of review all of the installations going out, and we do have our install coordinator who basically moves all the jobs over on Service Titan. We know that we all use Service Titan. Well, typically most advanced contractors use Service Titan. As a matter of fact, when I first started here at Best, I had never used Service Titan. I was kind of stuck in the old ways where I was still using paper invoices and such. I had a checklist myself. Photos didn't really exist, but I did have my checklist where I had to basically fill out almost everything that we do here with photos. I had to do in a piece of paper. So Service Titan is the platform that we basically use to kind of assign all the technicians and installers. And how do you guys feel that Service Titan has helped out let's say contractors in general?
It's great. We love it.
Do you guys find it simple to use, or?
Yeah, Service Titan has everything. It has prices, invoices, pictures, information.
It's kind of crazy. It's kind of crazy that Service Titan, the capabilities that Service Titan has. There's so many things that we actually don't even do on Service Titan because we just don't we haven't we haven't gotten to that portion of being able to use Service Titan like that. And I want to say Service Titan does offer like classes and such. And I know that from the start, I mean, Brendan, I know that you've been here probably the longest out of everybody here in the crew. And I don't know if you've seen the changes that have been made within Service Titan. I know before I started, or sometime I don't know, a year or two before I started, you guys said that the checklist didn't exist. So right?
Yeah.
The HVAC industry was considered, an essential business during COVID, right? And
correct.
During COVID time, typically, I guess, our schedule here at Best for the installation crews, we work, Monday through Friday, and then have, Saturday, Sunday off. This is during the slower season, correct?
No.
Why do you say no?
Because COVID was actually super busy. Everybody was home, or they were trying to get stuff done on their homes because they were at home. A lot of people were probably getting paid more than they usually get paid, honestly. I mean,
how do you feel about that?
I mean, honestly,
but knowing that there was probably individuals out there making a little more than you were, or if not,
Whoa.
the same maybe.
Stop making up stories over here, man.
I'm just saying,
I mean, even if they weren't making as much as I was during that time, which is
The stimulus. That's why everybody was getting ACs done.
Yeah, the stimmies. That's what it was. But
Operate your AC system for a lot longer.
yeah, because they're home.
You're always
Yeah, 'cause they're
home.
home.
Yeah.
You're putting more, wear and tear on it. A lot more pressure.
Do you guys because I think Ernie, you were working through COVID, right?
Yeah.
Ernie. I think Lenny, Balin, Brian, and Christian. You might have.
I wasn't here.
I know,
was
but
in
you
California,
were still in the trade, right?
Yeah, I was still working.
And so you had to work through it, obviously, right? But the other three, Lenny, Balin, and Brian, you guys weren't in the trade yet, were you?
It was
No, I was
towards the
still in
end of
trade.
COVID, so I kind of came in
Okay.
during like 2021.
Yeah.
April, I believe.
How'd you guys feel about that, during that time? Because I know that, there was so many precautions that we had to kind of take, having to visit these, homes. And, again, going back to, being strangers, introducing yourselves to these, homeowners and stuff, and you're walking into a house where they're already, having so much fear of COVID being spread out and all that. So, like,
I hated it, honestly.
it was difficult.
I hated it, but you also got to remember that, it's their home and you need to respect that.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
Yeah. I mean, well, I'm glad now that, we don't necessarily wear masks, anymore. But I think I know that when I was working through COVID, I actually would use like the little slip-on masks.
Mm.
And so, that was actually like my go-to mask, I should say, for working in the attic. So, since I didn't really have to wear like the, what is that, 3M masks, I would just do the little slip-on, and I think I felt, pretty comfortable using that throughout the whole day. But
That's a BMW.
M3 is a BMW.
The N95.
M95?
N95. that's the one.
N95, that's the one right
N95.
there.
That was kind of weird time too, because it was like,
Well, I remember actually you couldn't even find the N95 mask at the, I'd go into Home Depot and
yeah.
they didn't have the, N95s.
Oh yeah,
that
they
we
were
usually
out of
use.
masks. No,
That's why I ended up using those slip-on ones. that,
No, but I was saying, like, you go into a house and then you hate wearing this mask and stuff like this, but you can't really voice your opinion or talk about it because it's kind of like politics. Some people have really strong views about one thing, and then he just mentions something and they're like, what
Yeah.
like they're gonna think you're crazy for not wanting to wear the mask.
I mean, you still see people, walking around with masks nowadays.
Yeah,
You go to the store.
and nobody even talks about COVID anymore.
No. The other day I was at the DMV, and I mean, I still see people wearing masks, and I'm like, I mean, I guess, good for them if they feel that, that's going to protect them. But,
Mask wearers watching this right now are gonna be like, oh my god, this guy, I'm not calling him.
again, it's just, it's an opinion, man. We can't be judged, for having opinions. Like,
That's true.
it
man.
is what it is.
That
I'm not
is
judging
true.
them either. I mean, they can do what they want, so.
And was weird porque cuando entrabas, te introducías, te presentabas y solo veías una máscara.
Yeah.
Y no podías ver la cara. Y
Oh,
usualmente cuando vas y hablas con alguien, ves los ojos, la cara, todo, ¿no?
Yeah, exactly. Brandon. No, so basically Ernie, Ernie's explaining that, he's got a very valid point, hiding your face behind a mask, and you only have visual, contact through your eyes. I mean, they say typically, that's how you have, a good conversation is, making eye contact, right? Eye to eye. But you could just never really, fully see, a person's expression because it was always behind a mask. And there was times where it was hard to read that person, because they had a mask on. So it was like,
That's true.
I can't really tell how to feel about this person because, it's like what's
But
behind.
then-
I had some people, they would remove their mask. Oh yeah, and just so that they could show me that they were smiling. And
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, yeah.
Lenny liked
But-
it. He told me he liked it because it was easier for him to talk to like pretty women.
Why is that? Bad breath or something?
With mask.
Dragon breath?
No.
Hot breath? I mean, I don't know, man. I heard Lenny's got some hot stuff coming out of his mouth that, he spit game and everything. So, going on, moving on to a different question. What safety precautions do you guys take during, HVAC installations?
PPE,
Gloves.
PPE, gloves, right?
eye protection.
Eye protection. I've got my eye protection right now. I wear it all. I wear it on at all times. So yeah, eye protection is very important.
3-point contact on ladders at all times.
3-point contact at all times. And when you're coming down, you pull a Jackie Chan, right, Ernie?
A couple times.
I've had multiple, business owners or other, installation managers ask, how is it that you guys you know, basically do same day installs. I mean, I guess I thought it was normal up until, you know, I started getting these questions, and they would, you know, they would basically say, you know, how do you guys even start an installation, you know, at 2:00 in the afternoon and be able to finish it same day?
Red Bull.
Red Bull.
White Monster.
That's honestly
Like
a
it's
question
Easter.
that I ask myself sometimes, because starting an install at 2, I mean, it's not fun.
It's not.
It's a lot harder.
And especially
Yeah.
during, you know, the Vegas summer months where it's, you know, over, I don't know, 115 degrees outside. Yeah, it can be, you know, very difficult. So, I mean, I thought it was, again, just a day-to-day, you know, job thing where I thought it was normal. But when you get under, you know, individuals that are, you know, from out of state, and they hear about, you know, being able to provide, you know, same-day installations, I guess that, you know, you guys look like fucking.
It's
Sorry,
not fun,
sorry for the
but
language right there.
it's not fun, but like in the day, you feel really, really good because you see the homeowner happy, you know, like comfortable in home. So
Yeah.
I think it's good.
No, what's it called? And that's, I mean, yeah, you guys rock it. I mean, 2 installs in one day. So sometimes we even do, you know, let's say 2 full splits in a package unit in one day. You know, and that's a lot. You know, can we kind of explain, you know, what a full split, you know, consists of, so that we can kind of, you know, make homeowners aware of, you know, what to expect from a full split replacement compared to, let's say, a package unit replacement.
Full split, they call it a split unit because you got your outdoor unit, which is like half of your AC, and then up in the attic, you have the other half, plus your furnace. The furnace has all, you know, the electronics, the board, and everything on it, and then obviously, you know, the thermostat, which the homeowner always sees. Package unit is it's basically the whole system, but
Single package.
it's just
In a
in a
package.
single package, yeah.
Just in
And
one
it sits on your
package.
roof, or, you know, in some houses, they have it where it sits on the ground, just goes like into the side of the house.
Right.
They have different setups, but I mean, it's all kind of the same thing. you know.
Packages on the roof, usually, and a full split is in the attic.
I think I've heard it from you guys before where, you know, you guys go out and do a full split, and, you know, homeowners are in awe when they find out that you guys are bringing equipment down from the attic, and they're like, oh, I thought you guys were just replacing the you know, the full system. And you're like, this is the full system. And they're like, oh, well, no, just the full system outside. You know, how do you go about, you know, explaining, you know, something like that to the homeowners?
Well,
Like,
yesterday when we're removing the equipment from their attic, the customer was surprised because she didn't know that all that was in her attic.
right,
Where it's 2-person carrying the furnace.
the furnace.
And she was, oh wow, that was up there. And I tell her, as I'm struggling, sweating, yeah. I'm like, yeah, this is in your attic. We just keep going.
What's called, yeah, no, it's
Trying, mate.
it could be, you know, surprising, I guess, for homeowners, because a lot of them don't even know that, you know, another portion of their system that keeps them comfortable is inside the attic. You know, for the most part, like Brendan says, you know, you have the thermostat and, you know, the portion outside. That's all customers typically see. And of course, where their filter goes. But if you really, you know, I mean, if you ask me, how many times have I gone to a house where homeowners say their system stops working, and you know, you look up into the filter, you know, it's a lot of the times it's just super dirty filter, right? So, you know, what's one good thing, you know, about or a tip that you can tell, you know, a homeowner about, you know, their filters, Lenny?
To switch their filters, to maintain their maintenance on the systems, just
Once
Yeah.
a month.
once
Filters,
a month.
yeah,
Once a
once a month on the filters.
I know that some filters, you know, say that you can replace them once every
90
3
days.
months, every 90 days. You know,
Here in Vegas, that little dust gets
Fine
inside
dust.
the house. Yeah,
yeah.
clogs those filters quick.
Yeah, I had a customer once tell me that, you know, I guess she was told that, you know, by replacing her system, it was going to allow the fine dust in her house to kind of, you know, settle down, and she wouldn't necessarily see it anymore. But would you guys say that typically, you know, would help? Let's say a home that gets dusty, if they replace their system, is that going to really, you know, minimize the amount of dust that's inside the house?
It'd probably reduce it for a little bit. Not gonna lie, just because it's a brand new blower. There's no dirt on it, so it's gonna hold a little of that dust in there for a while. But once that gets caked in dirt, dust, then it's gonna send it through the coil and eventually back into the house.
Yeah, it's difficult, you know, and going back to like what Lenny said, you know, you gotta maintain, you know, the equipment. You know, you install a brand new unit, your blower wheel or blower motor, which is essentially the motor that distributes all the air throughout your ductwork and inside the house. Over time, you know, that super fine dust that doesn't necessarily get filtered by your filter, you know, will make its way into the blower wheel, which is, you know, it's somewhat like a hamster wheel. It's what it looks like.
There's so many different things too, like you know, if they're asking about, oh yeah, will the new system help with the dust? It's like, I don't, you know, it could be that around your unit, the ducts weren't sealed correctly, or you know, even if it was, I mean, your ductwork could be bad, you know, or I mean, you're asking me about dust, but you got a 1/2-inch gap under your patio door, you know, it's like.
And that happens.
fix your door first, and then, you know, maybe
you got homeowners that are still rocking their, you know, 1970s, 1980s windows, you know, single pane windows, and it's like maybe you need to look into upgrading those windows, the window seals, you know, and that definitely plays a big part. You know, I don't know if you guys ever like actually felt a draft in that kind of, you know, portion or like through the doors, the windows. If you got, you know, your AC running and it's, you know, nice and cool inside the house and it's a hot summer day, they don't have seals under the doors or the windows, and you put your, you know, hand across that. I don't know if you ever felt it, but it's a pretty, you know, big difference of that air, you know, trying to basically come into the house. So I mean, dust here in Vegas is very hard to get rid of. You know, we obviously do have different kinds of solutions that we can provide to the homeowners. You know, you guys know, you know, some of the solutions that we provide to, you know, homeowners, right?
Yeah.
MERV filters.
MERV filters. They're not your standard 1-inch filters. Typically, the MERV filters are, you know, 4-inch. I believe they have 5-inch, 6-inch. But you know, for the residential side, typically we recommend or install, you know, 4-inch April Air MERV filters. You know, the higher the MERV, the more it's gonna, you know, be able to filter out certain things. So yeah, you know, MERV filters,
UV lights,
ultraviolet lights. Ultraviolet lights can be a little, you know, I don't know, intimidating, I guess. You know, certain homeowners do their research and they see that, you know, some lights emit certain things that other lights don't. So that can be, you know, something that obviously your homeowner might hit you with on, you know, questions of, you know, hey, is this bad for my health or something like that? Because there are, you know, ultraviolet lights that emit, what is that, ozone? And no ozone. It's like a distinct smell that's supposed to kind of calm down the odors around your house. So if you got like pet dander, smoke, you know, smokers that smoke inside the house, certain things on those ultraviolet lights will be emitted to, you know, kind of eliminate, you know, those bad smells, those bad odors. So
if you have a MERV filter, is it as good as having an air purifier, or which one's better?
You're talking air purifier,
like the ones that they're just sitting in your living room or something, or your master.
I think because if you really look into like the air purifiers, you'd have to look at like the amount of, you know, air that it cleans, you know, per the rate that it, you know, says it cleans the air for, you know.
I feel like it's more efficient just because it's pulling the entire house air into the AC system, redistributing it out clean. Those air filters that you put in your living room and stuff, they contain filters too, and it just filters the air in that area instead of the whole home.
A lot of them have UV lights in them too, built-in like UV lights.
The little small ones.
So I guess, I mean, if you're replacing your system and you're one to be using, you know, those small little air purifiers, just put a UV light and one of those MERV filters, and it's gonna be the same thing but better, a lot better, because it'll supply your whole house in different rooms, not just one single room. Yeah. So I mean, you know, it's like they said, you know, so if you do have those, you know, basically
standalone, purifiers. I mean, I think they do the job. It's just more so of, containing that one particular area,
Right.
opposed to if you actually install it in your, air distribution portion of it, then you're getting it throughout the entire house. Give us a quick walkthrough of the process on installing a new HVAC system, basically from start to finish. Just, in the form that you show up to the homeowner's house, and then, kind of a quick, process on how you guys, perform it and finish it.
Well, first,
Come on.
we're gonna demo the old unit, and then put back the new unit.
I like it.
That was pigeon.
It was close. That was a super
Oh, man,
a small shortcut.
So we do the installation. We usually show up to the homeowner's house. We introduce ourselves. We tell of our names, everything. We kind of give them a process of what's gonna happen, how long it's gonna take. Then they usually say, okay, just let me know when you guys are done, or let me know if you guys need anything. Then we start sending the helpers to lay down the plastic. Then we start going outside. We start demoing the system outside, which is called the condenser. We install the new one. Then after we're done outside, we hop inside to do the demo inside in the attic. That usually takes around an hour or less to do
The demo.
the demo.
Okay.
Slow.
No,
15 minutes.
we demo the system in the attic. We bring it down. We take measurements if we need to adjust anything in the attic. We pull the new units up into the attic with rope. Some of the homeowners get amazed, like, oh.
Is that what you used to take it up?
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
a rope and some elbow grease.
You don't have a
Yeah.
lift for that?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, no, we don't. The only times that we use a crane is for what?
Packaging.
Packages.
Or condensers.
Or condensers. Occasionally we'll have condensers, yeah. We all know why. On condensers.
Me either.
So
Couple
yeah,
times
go ahead.
without these.
So we connect everything upstairs in the attic, coil, furnace, plenums, the ducts. We wire everything up there. We hook up gas, electrical. We make sure everything's up to code. Level the system.
Water test.
Water test
Most
our system
important.
as well.
Condensation,
We
right?
connect our new condensations line. Then after that, we braise up there. We use fire.
Is that something? Is that a dangerous thing that you guys feel you're messing with?
For sure.
Being inside an
Sometimes.
attic and have an open flame in there. Do you guys keep fire extinguishers nearby? Or
Oh
anything?
yeah.
We do,
Christian
yes.
answer.
Christian?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
Of course we do.
Hey.
Fire extinguishers.
Water bottles, everything.
Water
You name it.
bottles, towels.
Fireproof.
It's a
What is
control-
it? Liquids and stuff like that.
It's a controlled flame, so it's not as dangerous as it seems because
Right.
we're completely in charge of
Let's take a vote real quick. Who's the most dangerous with a torch in his hand?
Oh man.
Why?
Oh my god.
I vote Balin.
Who
I haven't
you got?
been
Who you
able
got?
to go
Who
out
you
there, so
got?
I don't know, man. I don't know.
Yeah, we're just careful with the torch. And if we're a little too close to like insulation, we put down damp towels.
Right.
Get some towels, soak them in water, and kind of damp the area, so everything around it where you're brazing is not as it's not as easy as to catch on fire.
I don't know if it's
Trust
just
me.
I don't know if it's just me, but I know that like when I had braise, I would try to be aware of my surroundings. Is that something that you guys think about too, or
All the time.
is it just me? Because I know that like sometimes being that you guys get green helpers, right? They don't know anything, and they've done what they can, and they're just kind of there to observe, what you're doing now, and you're braising your joints, and they get close. Do you guys think about like, oh, like if I accidentally move super quick, because you're not necessarily thinking about them, more so of oh, is my joint sealed? Do you guys think of like if I move pretty quick and his face is right here, I'm gonna burn this
Yeah.
guy's face?
Actually, for like 6 months after Balin started, I didn't have half an eyebrow because he burnt
No
my
way.
eyebrow.
That was one time.
Oh, just one time.
That's what I'm saying. So like at that moment, I I highly doubt that Balin was, really paying attention to his surroundings, and that's the reason why that happened, right? So
That's the first time you seen a torch. He was just swinging it
around.
everywhere.
Yeah, it's dangerous, man.
willy-nilly.
Because you get kind of distracted, and I'll be honest, it's happened to me where, I kind of put the flame away and, I'm trying to check my joint and not necessarily paying attention to the flame, and the next thing you know, I turn around and oh man, I just burned liquid tight, the electrical
The cables.
protector for the cables, of the power to the system, or if I'm in the attic and accidentally put the flame away and, now I hit the either the flex, so it tears the jacket, or I'll hit the PVC lines, and now the PVC, instead of being nice and white, it looks all nasty and black. So
Did you replace it after?
yeah, of course. The ducts I couldn't replace it, but I had to, seal up the duct. PVC I would have to cut, and then attach a new portion of it, liquid tight, just,
Or do what Brendan does. He'll take a sip of the water and spit it out.
Yeah, I actually that was pretty neat. I saw that the other day and I was like, hey, I think I like that. It's kind of unsanitary, but hey,
Whoa,
whatever works.
that he just made that up, man. That doesn't happen.
Whatever
But
gets it wet.
The water boils instantly, so
It sure does.
Well, what's better,
Cause of germs.
spit on the truss or
Catch fire.
a house on fire?
How about
Mucus on your glasses.
how about PVC glue, duct sealant, and pipe dope? Do you guys use the trusses to clean your hands
With Pookie, yeah.
No,
Yeah.
never, man.
I do it all the time.
all the time?
Wipe off my gloves.
Duct work or
I might put on my shirt.
My helper's tool.
On your, I mean, yeah, you can kind of tell you guys use your shirts.
I make my
very
helper
well,
lick it
so.
off my hand.
Lenny Balin, how did that taste? What do you guys know?
And
A little sour, but
Oh,
well,
sour.
if you're good enough, you don't get pookie on yourself.
Hey. How do you guys handle unexpected challenges or complications during installations?
I do it, Brendan, every day. So,
Is that a hard challenge every day?
very hard.
Head
A
first,
lot of
baby.
stress on the mind.
Why do you think? Is it because he kind of sets a high expectation, or is it just because Brendan's?
He's scared because I'm gonna spank him.
Have you had to?
Definitely. When he burned half my eyebrow off, oh my gosh, he got it.
Is that the worst that a helper has done to you?
No, so he burned the right eyebrow. Lenny burned the left
Oh
eyebrow.
my god,
True story, man.
she got it tattooed on.
he does too. Show us your eyebrows, bro.
No, I don't want to show you my sty.
That's right. What's it called? Let's see.
Challenges,
The challenges.
step away for a bit, think of the best way of doing the job, the most efficient way of doing the job, and what looks the best. Get back to it.
We've all had those challenges, right? Balin, you can talk about the challenge that you had, out in Lake Las Vegas.
Oh, man.
What happened?
How long does a condenser change out typically take?
2 hours.
So let's just say the homeowner is replacing the AC outside. The inside is somewhat new.
It typically takes 2-3 hours at the most.
Right, for someone pretty well experienced, right?
Yes.
And that day, what challenges did you have?
Well, everything was good, going good up until I had to vacuum.
Right.
The vacuum, apparently there was a lot of oil in the lines, so it just wasn't.
Took a very long time to clean out that
just
system,
wasn't
right?
vacuuming. I used about 4 tanks of nitrogen.
To flush it all out.
Yeah, which is what we use to flush the lines.
Yeah.
Okay.
There was just a lot of oil in the system.
No,
Yeah.
he probably just had a leak. That's
I
what it
caught.
was.
No,
I
actually,
caught-
because we went back, right? But it wasn't for a leak or anything.
No, he had a leak, and then he started pulling his vacuum.
no.
He started pulling his vacuum, and
No,
it wouldn't go
he-
down. So he's like, "Oh, let me double check this." Oh,
He
that's
called me
why.
back because his disconnect box, his door was swinging open.
Right.
He said the condenser would go on and the fan would blow the door and it'll make a noise.
It's like what happened to you, Brandon. Right?
Not to me.
And then he made me pick up
Not
all
to
the
me.
leaves out of his condenser,
That's right. Oh, for the second call.
which is, I
Right.
mean, it's normal shit.
Yeah, man.
Stuff gets in there.
Did some landscaping.
Yeah.
He should have
I
been
mean,
like,
man,
yeah,
it's-
the technician's
you'd be
gonna
surprised.
come out for
Sometimes
that.
we do it all. Then we have to do the plumbing portion of it.
Pour concrete.
Landscaping,
The landscape.
pour concrete. Remove cinder blocks or the little pavers. And, yeah, man, it's definitely a challenge.
Me and
every
Lenny
day,
had to
so.
take off Christmas lights one time.
Oh,
That's
Really?
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, he did a huge favor for that homeowner. It was after Christmas, and Lenny was feeling pretty
Still in the
generous,
spirit?
you know, and provided an
And
extra
I was
service to
waiting
that
for the
homeowner.
review, but I didn't see nothing.
Probably didn't ask for it, man. You have to.
I told him I'll trade you a review for this labor. He's like, okay.
That's why at that moment you got to, you know, pull up the app, you know, and have them ask for the or have them
Just go
do the
back
review
and
in front of
install
your
the
face.
lights.
Hold them hostage, you know.
He said review $100.
Hey.
Live.
So you know, Balin, you talked about, you know, your vacuum and, you know, the nitrogen. Next question is, you know, what tools and equipment do you guys commonly use during the HVAC installations?
An impact drill.
Impact drill is one of our
very important. That's probably the
correct.
number one.
That's
Service wrench.
for those, you know, newcomers coming into the trade, right? The installation portion of it, installation helpers. Highly recommend, you know, getting a good impact drill, right?
Milwaukee
game.
drill.
Milwaukee
right.
for sure.
Milwaukee.
No.
The wall's good,
No,
The
they
ones
will.
are
Wait, how many
100%.
Milwaukee? One,
It's
two,
3 and
three.
3.
It's 3 and 3.
Yeah, but
the wall.
They're both good.
Milwaukee is like a slow drill, you know.
It's a slow
They
drill.
will is the best one. Actually, my drill work myself.
I'm sorry. it's
I just
called
put
the
my
wall.
drill
You
in
just
and
have to
they
put it
start
there
to
and
work.
it does
Yeah.
Oh my god, is that how you finish all your installations super quick? Man.
Yeah,
I
there's
never
the
tried
proof.
it. I never tried it, man. And Balin's right behind it too. I mean, Christian, you're starting to, you know, follow up, man. But
My girlfriend's with me because I showed her my wall drill.
Damn.
I'll take it with me.
I like that, man. I'm gonna have to try that. I'm gonna have to try that. So you know, the drill is very important. You know, a very important tool for, you know, installers to have. You know, it's a tool that we can't have. You know, and obviously, whether it be, you know, Milwaukee, DeWalt, Makita, you know, Ryobi, right?
For all like the helpers getting into the trade, you know, right out of school, whatever. Actually, even if you didn't go to school, invest in yourself, and buy the tools, man.
Buy the tools.
Just buy the tools. Get it as soon as you can. Like Julio said, I mean, you don't need Milwaukee to, you know, take a screw out. So get what you can afford. You know.
We all start from somewhere.
Yeah.
You know, that was, you know, that's something that I tell my, you know, installation helpers at all times. It's like, if I don't see an investment, you know, within yourself, and it's like, what are you really trying to, you know, improve on?
Exactly.
You know, whether you make, you know, minimal pay, you're still able to come up on tools. I mean, for 8.5 years, that's where I was at. I wasn't making, you know, the money that I probably should have, but, you know, slowly but surely I was coming up on my tools. You know, I would see my old coworker, you know, because he made a lot better money than I did, and he, you know, we'd go to Home Depot, you know, just about every Friday, and
truck stock tools.
no, because we could have truck stock tools, you know, with that company. So
Hey, the rule is you use something 3 times, you gotta buy your own already. That's the rule.
what, within the company, or in general?
My rule.
That's your rule. So, but yeah, no, you know, definitely having, you know, the investment in your tools, you know, it helps you out, and that's for all installation helpers or even service technicians.
I put that in my resume. I have my own tools.
That's good. That's
Because
very
it's important. It is
It
super important to have your
Yeah.
tools, man.
You'd be surprised how many
That's all
guys
good,
I
yeah.
interview, and they come in and they say they have their tools, and then there's
And then they come up to us.
With the
Oh,
screwdriver.
Can I use this?
Can I use this? Can I use this, please?
Yeah.
Like end of the day, what is my tools? Oh,
Bro.
I don't know. Like, oh my god.
You're a lead man. You gotta buy one. Sorry.
yeah. Yeah, exactly. So, so yeah, tools are very important. You know, the vacuum that you mentioned earlier, Balin, what's the vacuum used for?
The vacuum
Is it like a
to-
regular shop vacuum, a regular house vacuum? Like, what is that what you're using to clean out, you know, the system, or?
That's too hard of a question for him, man.
Yeah, that's a little intricate, but it's pretty much.
Cleans out your lines.
Yeah, it cleans out your
Easy.
So in a refrigeration system, you know, we have our copper lines, which is, you know, essentially where all the refrigerant flows through, right? The refrigerant, including some, you know, some oil that's, what's it called? That's inserted or poured into the compressor, you know, to help lubricate the compressor, right? So when we use the vacuum helps, you know, kind of eliminate some of what things, Brian?
moisture,
So moisture,
contaminants,
contaminants,
Air.
air. It basically it draws out any
non-condensable.
anything that we don't necessarily want in that in the copper tubings.
So basically everything.
It drops
Pretty
the-
much almost everything.
Everything except the stuff that comes in the system.
Except for the stuff that comes in the system. So yeah, very important tool to have. Can you guys share any experiences where you had to troubleshoot or resolve unexpected issues during an installation?
Yeah, so one time Balin installed this unit and it wouldn't start for some reason. And I'm
Balin, it's like they're throwing you under the bus.
I'm
man.
looking
What's up?
around and everything, and I'm like, oh, this looks good. But
It's the first time I heard this story.
the wiring looks good,
Oh,
but
okay.
I wired the system. Ended up, this guy didn't turn on the breaker.
No, what happened after is he woke up.
He woke up.
Yeah. He was dreaming.
Sometimes from factory units come, they shake a lot.
Right.
Things move around. So one time I did a full split, was finishing, pulled my vacuum, released refrigerant, and called the system to cool. And it was weird because my pressures weren't moving. So I'm like, all right, well, compressor is not starting. My condenser fan was on and everything, and I was tracing everything down from scratch. And after about 15 minutes, I just look inside the condenser and noticed the compressor's little plug might have shaken loose during the shipping process or fell out or wasn't connected. So I just had to pop it open, slap it in, kicked on, and yeah.
So you diagnosed that in 15 minutes? Wait, would you say that you maybe got like one extra CU for that?
I could. Well, I spent longer than that. But I looked at everything. I started from scratch, so it took me.
Yeah.
It took him a while. He had to call Balin for tech support.
Because I
Yeah, no.
started at the high voltage, made sure the line or I had electricity going to the compressor. And then
Yeah.
checked my.
I mean, that's kind of like how we troubleshoot, right? That's, we start kind of using the process of elimination, and eventually you'll get to the point where it's like, okay, so that, this is what the problem is. Balin, Lenny, I don't know if you guys had to really troubleshoot a lot, other than that last call that you went to where you had to install a hard start kit, right?
Oh, the no cool call. Yes.
And no pool. So
Just the compressor that was it was amping. So we added a booster to get
a supercharger,
a supercharger,
turbo.
and then that compressor started up and running and was cooling the house.
Did you notice any like distinct noises after you got to get the compressor to start, or it sounded
No.
pretty normal?
It sounded pretty normal.
Yeah, that one was strange. I reached out to Lennox, and from what they advised of was that they've had that issue before, and having to install a hard start kit won't necessarily affect it. Obviously, we all know that hard start kits aren't kind of what's it called. I mean, yes, it's an accessory, but it's more of it's supposed to help out the compressor on startup to kind of help alleviate the power consumption, because we all know that compressors are the ones that consume the most power when they start up, right? So with that hard start kit, that's what it's there for. It's supposed to help. So we ended up obviously leaving that hard start kit. That's not the first one either, because that one's I think that one was a 4-ton. Brian, you remember that other mobile home one that we had? That was also a 4-ton. Same thing. So I guess from what Lennox has experienced, it's pretty common. So you guys ever ran into those homeowners where for whatever reason they think that it's completely okay to create some form of shade or protected barrier for their ACs, and so they like to put kind of like, I don't know, wooden covers over them and stuff like that.
Wooden covers over them.
You've never
I
seen
can
that?
understand a cage. I mean, depending on what part of town you live on.
Oh yeah, that too. But no, like I'm saying, like actual covers, because they're afraid that like their equipment's gonna get damaged. Like
So what I always tell them is, obviously, when they build these systems, they know that it's gonna sit outside. So it was made,
To be in the elements.
to be outdoors.
to be
in the
outdoors,
elements.
right?
Whether it's, I mean, they come with hail guards, so if you do see hail, wherever you live, wherever it's being installed. It's going to be protected from that. It's made to be in the rain, obviously, because it's going to be outside, the heat.
Yeah,
So if you do put any covers on it, it's just going to restrict the air
it'll
going
restrict
to the
the air.
unit, pushing out of the unit. It's not going to remove the heat efficiently from the refrigerant,
Right.
and then you're just going to have issues.
The compressor, instead of, the compressor lasting what it should last, you kind of basically cut the compressor's life, by restricting that kind of airflow, right?
Exactly.
Same thing goes with, like these apartment homes, townhomes, condos. The other day I walked into an installation that we were doing, and these units were sitting side by side. I kid you not, it was maybe like 2 inches away from each other. And I'm just looking at this design like, what were the contractors thinking? How did this even pass inspection to begin with? It would have been great, but at the same time, because those communities are HOA, it's like you can only do certain things, but let's just say if that was a homeowner's house, then for sure, we would have wanted to, educate that homeowner and let them know, hey, you don't necessarily want to have, these condensers stacked, side by side the way that they are. So in that case, you would kind of, break them apart so that they have the proper airflow through it, right? But the condenser that we basically replaced on that house, it was maybe 2 inches away from one of the units on the right, maybe a good 4 inches away from the side wall, and then from the back wall, it had maybe 4 inches. So super, confined space, restricted with airflow. And I mean, you can only imagine when the other systems, operate, how it's going to affect that. So of course, again, if it was non-HOA, I would have just advised the homeowner, hey, we're going to probably move this up. It's going to, look a little off, but it's definitely going to help, your system operate, a lot better than what it is if, we were to leave it this way. So that's, very important. Same thing with, shrubs, bushes. Some homeowners, like to hide the AC, so they'll put, trees around it and stuff like that. Trees, or they'll put, their trash bins, I don't know, bicycles, shovels, all kinds of stuff, and anything that you pretty much put around that, again, will cause, some form of restriction, airflow restriction.
They could be saving $50 a month, but instead they wanted a bush.
Yeah, pretty much. So, it's important that we try to, keep that area basically, free, so that the system has proper airflow. All right. So yeah, that's one important thing that, obviously we look at, because again, if we do have restrictions, we're probably going to have, pressures that look odd, right? What's another thing that, we look at?
Filters.
Filters, air filters, it's before we or during the startup process, we want to make sure we have clean filters in the system, because a dirty filter will cause, abnormal pressures, right? What happens, if we have a dirty filter?
And we have to be sure to, like, when we reconnect all the dots into the system, like a couple of times, you're working around the system and you bend the flexes, so you have to be sure everything is straight. Nice
and tight, straight, nice curves around the flex work, so that we have proper airflow.
Yeah, make sure before you put it in, use a duct stretcher on it. So
how does the duct stretcher work?
So how that thing works, it's basically like an accordion. You stick a claw on one end, and you stick the other claw on the other end, and there's a little like a little crank it, and this thing is like, I don't know, it's about 2 feet when it's
Fully stretched.
when it's
When it's fully stretched? No.
no, not fully
Home Depot
stretched.
I thought you said when
Yeah,
it's fully,
Home Depot has it. It's
I
about
thought
2
you said
feet.
when it's fully flaccid.
Well, once you crank it up, I mean, this thing extends to like 20 feet. No kidding. Yeah, I don't know. It's like it's from the future. I've never, seen one before I got into the trade, but now, I mean, I can't do an install without it. It's weird.
Does it help you?
Oh yeah, I love that thing, and it just makes it makes sure that the homeowner is getting the most out of the money that they're spending obviously, because we need the system to run efficiently, right?
Right.
If you're investing all this money into a new system, you want it to run as efficiently as possible. So, I mean, even if you don't use us, just make sure that the next company is going to use that duct stretcher to install your ductwork into your unit.
Yeah.
Right.
Going back to the filters, a dirty filter will cause your system to what?
Freeze up.
To freeze up. Why?
Because there's no heat that's going to be passing the coil. The coil needs to pick up heat for it to maintain basically like the correct temperature, right?
Right.
So if you're not getting airflow and that heat isn't passing that indoor coil, it's just going to get colder and colder and colder, and
it'll eventually freeze up, right?
And then that's going to block airflow. Like it's going to turn into like a wall in
A
your
big
unit.
old block of ice.
Yeah, pretty much.
There's zero
You're
airflow.
gonna get no airflow.
No
after
airflow.
that.
And a small little thing like that will affect your system. Obviously we get tons of calls where homeowners are like, my system's not really blowing cold air. I don't know if you guys have to have had to deal with that, but I know that sometimes when I was getting slammed with calls at the other company that I worked for, those were questions that I asked just to try to avoid from being overbooked or something. I would try to ask over the phone, can you do me a favor, go to your register, check your air coming out. Is it very minimal? Oh yeah, it does not blowing like it usually does. You can kind of feel it, but it's not very well. Okay, is it cold? Yeah, I can. It feels cold. It's just not much air coming through the vents. Then at that point, I'm like, okay, well, when was the last time that you replaced your filter? Let me go check. Okay, and
Really though, I mean, when we're installing a brand new unit, the technician that went out there to take a look at the whole system, and told you need a new system, he should be looking at your air filter too.
right.
So, I mean, it shouldn't be missed like that.
Is that something that we typically do here at Best? Do we replace filters for homeowners?
We don't, just because that's something, it's like maintenance. I mean, you change it every month. If they request it, of course we will.
Right.
Without the filter there, I wouldn't mind slapping it in for them.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly. I
Right.
mean, it takes what, 2 minutes,
Like Brennan stated, we start getting a frozen coil, and next thing you know, the customer's calling in saying it's not cooling the way that it's supposed to be cooling.
Well, that's another thing about those the MERV filters that I like, the MERV cabinets,
Mhm.
because they're your regular filter is an inch thick, and the MERV those MERV cabinets, the filters that go in there are like 4 or 5 inches thick, right?
Mhm.
So there's a lot more surface area on there. If you
Kinda
take
like
the
an
same
accordion
amount of
style.
dust and you throw it at the same filter, this one might the 1 inch might be clogged because of this because of the small amount of surface area, but on the 4-inch ones, I mean,
It has
a quarter
bigger
of it.
area. Yeah.
It's gonna be. I mean, a 4-inch one would basically be a quarter of the filter.
The 1 inch.
Yeah, exactly. Pretty much, right?
Yeah, no, for sure. It takes a lot more to to basically cover up the 4-inch filter than it does the 1 inch.
Yeah, and that's why they
So-
say those are good for 1 year.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well,
me
out
personally, I change mine every 6 months. The one
I
in
would,
my house.
I would trust me. I would be in the
But-
same boat if I were you too.
Yeah.
They are a little more expensive, but same thing. If I had a MERV cabinet in my house, I'd probably want to do it every 6 months
And
rather
I
than a year or
love
so.
this thing.
Do you?
Yes.
Oh,
MERV
but you-
16.
Do you have the Able Air or do you have the Pure Air?
There's a Pure Extreme.
I have the Pure Air. It's the same thickness, so it's about 4 inches. But mine also has carbon in it.
Okay.
So it's going to get rid of smells and stuff. And then inside that same cabinet, there's a UV light built
Okay.
in that thing. And the UV light's going to take care of like, bacteria and stuff like that.
Right.
Mold.
The Pure is the Lennox one, right?
I mean, I'm not saying I got mold in my house, but,
You never know. One never knows, man.
No,
I
man.
don't anymore now.
If I did, I don't got no more anymore.
Yeah. No, and then going back to the frozen coil, if what happens, let's just say that the homeowner hadn't really performed any kind of maintenance, it's still the original old system that they've had in that house, and it's just a simple filter change out, but let's just say that that the condensates were clogged and that coil is frozen. What's the probabilities of, you know,
It's gonna be raining in the house.
yeah, could be raining. We never
Inside
know.
the house.
Yeah.
But if you had your system installed by us, we put a float switch on the secondary pan, so the system would shut off, and you would call us, and we would come out and
Before it damages anything else.
correct.
So yeah. So, you know, typically on a home, we have our primaries and our secondary drain lines, right? During the monsoon season here in Vegas or anywhere in particular, I mean, here in Vegas, we only have the month of July where it usually rains the most. But all systems, you know, especially when it's humid, will remove moisture from the air. And that moisture obviously has to be expelled somewhere. And it is expelled through our drain pans that are built inside our evaporator coils. And therefore it drains outside. Our primaries, we know that they drain through, you know, down below somewhere on the around the foundation of the house. Sometimes, like in townhomes, apartments, condos, they'll tie in the primary into like your laundry washer boxes or
Scenes.
the, you know, kitchen sinks, bathroom sinks. Just really depends. And then our secondaries usually run off of the ceiling, right? Sometimes I've seen
In the
them.
shower.
Yeah, sometimes I've seen them in the shower as well, right up above the shower, that is. And what are the signs, you know, of your primary being, you know, clogged?
It starts draining out of the secondary.
When it's draining out of the secondary. So if for any reason a homeowner ever sees that secondary, you know, dripping water, again, typically it's up above. That's a, you know, an indicator that your primary is having an issues and it needs to be checked out. What happens if your secondary gets clogged?
Then hopefully
You're gonna get drywall to the head.
hopefully you have a float switch.
If it has a float switch, you might, you know, be, you know, I don't know. I'd probably say about 95% of the times, if you have a float switch, you'll be safe. But if you don't have a float switch,
You're gonna have drywall
like
damage.
Brennan stated, you will get a drywall. I mean, if it's up above your bedroom and you're sleeping,
Brian brought down half of a ceiling one time.
is that
Well-
the big old wet one?
So they
Yeah,
had
they
an
had an
existing
issue.
problem. Yeah,
Right.
they had an existing
It was
issue
leaking for weeks.
weeks. So the drywall was soaked upstairs.
Yeah.
Brian and I go upstairs. We start taking apart the unit, and all of a sudden, Brian puts like his big toe down on the drywall, and half the ceiling. Oh, is your small toe? Your pinky
No, it's
toe?
just a little. There's added weight from a tool or something.
He dropped his
Oh,
Oh,
scissors.
maybe. Yeah, he dropped his scissors, something like that.
Oh, it was a
Oh, it
screw.
was.
He has a screw.
Maybe. I forget. It was long. It was a while ago. But half the ceiling came down, and it was blowing insulation. So like I don't know if you're familiar
Yeah,
with
it's bad.
cellulose.
It's almost like, you know, shredded newspaper.
exactly shredded newspaper
Yeah.
What? Shredded
all
newspaper.
over the bed, and being the nice guys that we are,
Cleaned it all up.
we cleaned it all up for the homeowner, even though it wasn't our fault.
I think I remember, you know, if I remember right, the individual who cleaned that up said it took him about 2 hours
yeah,
to fully clean it
yeah.
up. Do you guys actually communicate that kind of information to homeowners?
Oh yeah.
You know, like let's say you know you're going to this property, you know that they've had a condensation issue, you know that the ceiling is, you know, be moist, you know, and it's super fragile, right? Do you guys, you know, let homeowners know about that? Because if you don't, I mean,
Before we
you
even
really
touch
should,
it,
right?
before we even
You know,
touch
this
it, we
with
tell them.
Balin, Lenny, I don't know if you guys had that experience yet, but if you haven't, you know, pick this up, because it's very important to communicate that information to homeowners. If they've had, you know, a water or condensation issue, and that was, you know, a reason why our technicians went out and recommended replacement, then before you start, you know, any kind of, you know, work, it's a good thing to, you know, notify the homeowner, hey, just so you're aware, accidents occur, and, you know, we take every, you know, precaution that we can to try to avoid from causing any more damage. But because the ceiling is, you know, soaked, it's very fragile right now, and any small, you know, you know, I've even had it to where I don't even necessarily step on, you know, the drywall or lay my pinky toe, you know, on it, and you know, it's more so of just by stepping on the
Trust.
on the trusses up in the attic, and, you know, creating that vibration, it literally just boom drops, you know. Very hard to avoid, so it's like that's very important information that you kind of want to communicate with the homeowners, you know, because the next thing you know, it's like they're trying to blame you for something that is like well, no, this was already fragile. So, you know, it's almost like I mean, I wish there was more so of a process on being able to dry that stuff out before we even touch anything. You know,
Really?
I think that would be, you know, a good idea. I mean, unless, you know, we don't necessarily, you know, I guess unless if the company's feeling generous and we're gonna, you know, repair their drywall, great, you know. But I don't know. In my opinion, I think it'd be great to, you know, notify the homeowner, hey, because this is completely moist. Whether they use a restoration company or I don't know. I mean, typically, I guess that's what you want to do, right? You get a dehumidifying machine and then fans in there to dry it all up. That's what should be done. Then it'd be like, okay, now we can, you know, work around this area and be more, you know, more comfortable.
Odds are, if it's that wet though,
What was that?
no. I was just saying, like, if it's really wet like that, drywall's probably trashed. Or
Yeah.
they're gonna have to get it all cut out
Right.
anyway. So
Yeah, and I've had to do that too. I've had a like super tight, you know, there was actually a super tight attic where they had a condensation issue, and I don't think I wouldn't have really done it if it weren't for that drywall being wet. My helper at the time, you know, he fell through the ceiling. He didn't fall completely all the way through. You know, same thing. He was probably like, you know, laying small pressure onto that drywall, but because it was wet, the drywall came down, and at that point, it was like, okay, well, it's open now. Let's just cut it open. And it was way easier to get that system, you know, installed. And if it weren't for that, then it would have been a lot harder. So it's almost like sometimes it's an advantage, but not for the homeowner. You know, some homeowners are cool with it because it's like, okay, well, if you guys are going to take care of it, that's great. But other homeowners, even if it's being taken care of, like, oh my God, you damaged my walls, and it can be difficult. So you guys are heading out to a customer's. How do you greet your customer, Balin? Your helper is Brian. You get to a customer's house. What can we, you know, let these homeowners kind of know what to expect when, you know, they
let's role play this. Let's role play.
Go ahead.
How you doing, Mrs. Jones?
How are
I'm
you?
Bailey from Best There. This is my partner,
Nice to
Brian.
meet you. Nice to meet you. Hello, Brian. How you doing?
We're the ones that we doing the install today. If you want to show me around inside the attic, real quick.
Yeah, of course. Let's go. So here's the attic access.
Okay.
Is that all you need?
Did the technician tell you that we possibly have to remove this trim?
He did not. What? You have to remove my trim?
Yeah, sometimes the new or old unit is a little bigger than the opening. But don't worry, we do have drywall specialists, so we'll take care of that. It's all included in the.
Who's the drywall
Nice.
specialist? You?
No, we have Jose. He's good.
Oh, okay. Is that it? Is that all I need?
Breaker panel. Where's that located? It's usually in the garage or on the side of the house.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's on the side of my house there. Watch out. There's a lot of dog poop right there.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, do you have the key for this, or can I just cut it?
I don't have the key. You can just cut it.
Oh, okay, thank you.
Okay. Lenny, pick up at that.
Wait.
pretty good. That was pretty
That's good. That's good.
Lenny,
So
Nick
he asked for the breaker. Now what?
We asked for the thermostat, for the breaker. The
Hey,
attic
no.
access.
Hold up.
No,
It has
you
to
gotta
be
role play.
Oh,
man.
no.
What's wrong with
You have
you?
to role play.
No,
And by the
it's-
way, you got to introduce yourself too, man. We got Balin over here, lead installer with Brian.
Knock on the door. Knock on my door.
Knock, knock.
Hey, Mrs. Jones. By the way, my name's
Bird
Lenny.
seeds.
Right?
Knock on my
I
door.
need to say knock knock.
No, you don't have to say knock knock.
Oh,
Knock
knock.
Let's just pretend you were outside.
I got you.
Right?
Oh, my partner Lenny just came with the equipment.
That's right. Hey,
He'll introduce himself.
perfect. I
So
like it.
Lenny walks in the door,
I
Yeah.
really.
and I'm standing right there, beautiful as ever.
Hey,
I don't know about that, man.
except for the sty in your eye, bro.
For the style of glasses.
Go ahead, Lenny.
Oh,
Finish off, bro.
bro.
You good, man?
I know he's ugly. I know.
Cat got your tongue? What?
You're too pretty. I need a mask. Wait, where do you lift up at?
You walk in the door, I'm standing there.
You didn't even introduce yourself.
I asked about the attic
Oh.
and I asked about the breaker.
Are you gonna
Where
shake
are
my
you?
hand?
Who are you?
How long will you take to go?
Well,
Hello, my name is Lenny. I'm one of two that's gonna be doing the install for you today. I'm the
Two?
lead.
Three.
I say one of two.
1 of 3.
I'm here too, bro.
Hey,
Oh,
me too.
bro.
4. It's a 4 crew.
It's a 4 crew. Let's get it.
So Ernie counts as two. So we have five. We have 5 here today.
okay.
That's it. Just show me the attic access, man.
No, we already did the attic access and the breaker panel.
We're at
What's
the
something
breaker
else that
panel
the homeowners are, giving you a rundown from?
Wait, say that again? Sorry.
What's the other stuff that you basically ask the homeowner to give you a rundown from in the property, aside from the attic access and the breaker panel?
The thermostat location.
You're not telling me. You're
Oh,
again,
sorry.
role play.
You gotta tell me, man. What's wrong with you?
Thermostat, if they have pets in the house, you
So
know.
I just need to know where your
people in and
thermostat
out.
is located at, or do you have any furry friends? Are we allowed to keep the door open?
Here's my thermostat on the wall.
Oh my god.
You need anything else?
No, that's about it. Do you have any questions or concerns after we do the install?
I do actually. None of you guys told me how long the install is gonna take.
You
Well, it
never
could take
asked.
anywhere from
You
6 to
never
8 hours.
6 to 8 hours. The tech told me 4.
I'm just trying to give you the best install possible.
Yeah, that's
Something
true.
that can make you happy.
Because this is your.
I could take 4 hours, but it might not look as pretty as you
Oh, maybe
want
it
it.
takes
I
5.
might not be proud of my work. So if you let me
Fair enough. I like
do
that.
my job,
I like that.
I'll give you a job that I'm proud of.
Awesome.
It's been a hot minute since I've been out in the field.
Hey
so,
man, you out here telling us what to
But-
do. So, I mean,
for sure, but
you gotta make sure you're on point. You know what I'm
Hey.
saying? You can't be just talking. You gotta walk the walk.
hey.
So,
Mr. Moy, good morning, sir. How's it going? My name's Julio. I'm the installation director. This is
Okay.
my partner, Balin. He's going to be assessing me with the installation today. Am I parked okay outside? Is this going to be an issue?
so your truck is good, Balin. He's blocking a fire hydrant. I don't know why he did that. He has to move all the way down the street.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, I
is
was
it
just-
all right? Is it all right? Oh, sorry. He can go too, yeah. So
Yeah.
But if anything, I'll fill in. Is it all right if we just get some of the stuff unloaded real quick, and then I'll have Balin go ahead and relocate his vehicle right after, or
Yeah, that's not an issue. As long as he can move it. I mean, I wouldn't leave it there for more than like 10 minutes.
Okay, cool. So what I'm gonna basically have Balin do is get started on unloading the equipment, kind of prepping everything so that we can go ahead and get the ball rolling.
Mhm.
I'll have Balin do that, and we can finish off the introduction to the home. Since this is my first time, I don't necessarily know the layouts of the property. So if you can show me around the house, I'd like to kind of get a feel of what we're gonna be working around with. Kind of give me a clear path on what you prefer going to use, whether it's the front entrance, your garage entrance, the back door entrance. Just kind of show me around. So
Mhm.
I'd like to start off with the thermostat location. Do you mind showing me the thermostat?
Yeah, so the thermostat's right here. Here's the garage door. You can honestly use either one, whichever one's easier for you. I'll go ahead and open up this garage door just in case you want to use it.
Okay. Did you show me the attic access?
I did not.
Okay. Do you mind showing me the attic access?
If we go in this closet right here and you look up, there's our attic access right there.
Okay. Now, basically, we're gonna have to go ahead and remove the attic access trim. For the most part, we typically put it back. If it can be put back at the time of the quality control inspection.
Okay.
go
Wait, hold
ahead.
on. The technician didn't mention anything about that. I gotta pay extra for that?
It's completely included in the package, so you're not coming out of pocket for anything. Any other expenses. Any drywall that has to be cut, any drywall that is accidentally damaged, any damages that happen throughout the property. With getting equipment pulled out, putting the new equipment in. Again, the company will basically cover those expenses, so you're not necessarily having to come out of pocket for that kind of stuff.
Oh,
So
perfect.
our quality control technician, when they come back and perform the full quality control inspection, will be putting the trim back. If it's something that he doesn't necessarily if it's something that he can't necessarily complete, then we do have a drywall specialist who's a subcontractor, and we don't necessarily run his schedule, but we do have our install concierge who handles that portion of it. They'll reach out to the drywall specialist. The drywall specialist will reach out to you and fit you on their schedule. So anything that kind of happens in between that, we won't necessarily be able to tell you, hey, this is going to get completed on this day, because they basically handle that portion of it. They, as in the drywall specialist. Okay, so again, anything that has to be taken out of as far as drywall or any small minor damages will be covered if it does happen to occur. All right. Basically, once that's the trim is removed, obviously we go ahead and start the demolition inside the attic and such. But before that, one last thing before we start working, if you can show me the breaker panel. We are going to be obviously working with the condenser outside and replacing some of the stuff that needs to be replaced, like your service disconnect. And to replace that service disconnect, we have to cut power off to the unit outside only. I know that a lot of homeowners ask if we're going to be shutting off the power to the entire unit or to the entire house, but we don't. It's only going to be to the outside unit, and then the rest of the house is still going to have power. So I will need to show me where the breaker panel's at.
Okay. So I actually have two.
Okay.
The main panel's outside on the side of the house here, and then the other one is inside my garage. So I don't know. I'm not too sure which one the AC is in. The breaker that you're gonna have to shut off. But,
okay. Well, we can always verify that. That's no problem. One thing I do ask for is if there's a lock. If by any chance you have the key, then we'll probably need the key so that we can go ahead and get access to that. If you do not have the key to it, as long as we get permission from you and we're able to remove it and cut it, then we'll go ahead and do so.
Yeah. I don't think I have the key. Let me look real quick. Nope, it's not in this drawer. Yeah, so I don't have the key, but you are free to cut that thing. However you have to open it, just go ahead.
Okay. And then if anything, if you want to, swing by the hardware store or something, or you have an extra lock, when we're completely done, you're more than welcome to provide us with the new lock and we'll put it on there for you.
Cool. Appreciate that.
And then one last thing, before we go ahead and get started, you mentioned your dog, you put him away in his, your bathroom. We know that dogs obviously have to go out and use the bathroom. So, is there at any point throughout the installation, if you do end up wanting to take your pet out, if you could just give us a heads up, that way we can make sure that none of our workers are outside and possibly have an accident or something. Just give us a heads up.
He doesn't run. But are you guys cool with dogs?
Yeah, I'm completely fine with dogs, but my partner
okay
Balin.
I'm fine, but we'll be going in and out. I don't want him to run away.
Have you guys ever had the experience of the homeowner not necessarily being objective to having their pet being put outside, like you have to work around kind of a vicious dog or anything like that? Or you get to you get to a homeowner's house and they got the smallest Chihuahua, because we all know that Chihuahuas are like little dinosaurs or whatever. But and the homeowner clearly tells you, oh no, it's completely fine. My dog does not bite. Blah blah blah. And okay, and you get the whole walkthrough of the property, and during that walkthrough, it's like. I've had it happen plenty of times, that they say, oh, the dog doesn't bite.
Your dog's nipping at my heels as we speak. What do you mean he doesn't bite?
Yes. So like, I don't, have you guys had any homeowners where they're like, nah, we're not, we're going to, leave our dog in here?
I mean, most homeowners, they're kind of respectful of that kind of thing. If they'll ask, a lot of people ask, hey, are you cool with dogs? And if you are, then they'll leave them out. If you aren't, then they'll put them away.
Yeah, well, as far as dogs, I really don't mind. It's really up to the homeowner. But there was 2 incidents where I did get bit by a dog.
Mm-hmm.
Were
they smaller dogs?
One
I remember
was a German Shepherd.
Oh wow!
And same thing. Oh yeah, my dog doesn't bite. As soon as he opened the door.
Went at you.
Oh, it leaped me, ripped my shirt. And
What?
then the second one was recently, last week with Brian and Ernie.
Oh, no way.
And the homeowner wanted to show me something, so I stepped in. Same thing. Oh, the dog doesn't bite, and it bit my calf.
Wow.
Yeah, and then
I mean, if the homeowner's around,
yeah, both homeowners were around at the time, and
had you notified them about that incident, or?
oh, they witnessed it.
No way.
They're really apologetic.
Yeah.
But
Well, they didn't hit their dog, did they?
What? Wait, what? That is so off topic, man.
No, I'm saying.
I
man,
kind of
I've seen that stuff
evacuated the
before.
area as soon as I got bit, so I'm not too sure. But
Did the dog bite you again?
no.
They usually put them away after that.
The dog was probably like, oh, all skin and bone.
It's good. But Brian and Ernie was there.
Yeah.
That's why we wear these.
and then the German Shepherd ripped my whole shirt and then just grazed my ribs.
Wow.
Chuck was there.
Yeah.
Oh,
Wow,
man.
that's crazy. I don't think I've
and
ever
then,
had that, man.
If Chuckles would tell a story,
He jumped the fence.
he just see me running around the corner towards him and Chuck his parents.
As the dog was approaching you guys, like he was chasing after you, and
Yeah.
that's funny. Man.
And then the homeowner grabbed the dog, put it behind him, and let the dog go, and it attacked me again, but I dodged it.
For me, I love dogs. I got 2 dogs, 2 big dogs, so I know how to work around them.
Never really had an issue with them.
Never had an issue with dogs. You know, I've been bit before. It's not a really big deal for me. Like I said, it's not their fault.
It's like that
dogs.
one homeowner that we went to, right? I think I was with you. Where what's her name? Up there by like Jones and 215 area, I think, where we replaced her 2 package units and we did 2 duct systems there. Yeah, and last time I went with you, but I think Brian, you were there as well. She had the little like French bulldog.
Oh yeah. We do that system. It's like a flat roof.
Yeah, the
2
flat
packets.
roof.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, the bulldog.
The little
I
bulldog.
love that guy.
You know,
He's-
the bulldog passed away.
Passed away
Oh,
recently,
wow.
yeah.
Yeah, she told us the last time that Lenny and I were out there, and it was weird because like I felt, that day I was like, oh, like it's almost like I forgot, and then she brought it up, and I was like, oh, that's right, you did have your little bulldog.
Yeah, the little guy left.
I think the
Long
last
time
time too.
sticking
The
out
last time
all-
that
Yeah.
we were out there before I went with Lenny, I was able to get a little picture
We
of,
did the heat
of the
strips.
little guy.
I was out there, yeah.
Yeah, so I used to carry my dog treats in my van. Even when I would see when I knew that like I heard a big bark like that one guy's, I'm like, okay, this person's got a big dog. Let me go back to my van real quick. I'd stash a couple snacks in my pockets, and I'd go into the house, do the introduction, and if this dog was vicious, the homeowner would tell me. Like. They'd be surprised because the dogs, obviously we all know that they have some of the best smelling, right? That's why they have their long noses, and so vicious dogs would come up to me, and homeowners would be surprised and say like, wow, I've never had my dog do that where they just approach these strangers and they're completely calm. And I wouldn't tell the homeowners like, oh, I would just kind of, pet the dog. The dog wasn't, very aggressive. And again, the homeowners are mind blown. And, I'd continue on and, still do the introduction or whatever, do the walkthrough around the house. Meanwhile, the dog's literally like next to me, smelling my pocket, because he knew what I had in my pocket.
The homeowners are usually like, oh my gosh, he never does that.
He never does that.
He never does that. That means he really trusts you, and anyone that he trusts, I trust because he can sense a good person.
After the homeowner would leave and stuff, and the dog was still there, then that's when I would treat the dog. You're like, oh, good boy, man. You made me look good. Lenny, what you tell us about some experiences you've had.
I'm okay with dogs too. It's like Bill said, it's up to the customer if he wants to leave him outside or inside. But if there's like growling or he's coming aggressively, I do tell the homeowner, can you just put him away just for a couple hours? Then if he needs to go to the bathroom, just let us know. We'll go into the attic and do work there.
I'm okay with small dogs. I'm a little scared with the big dogs.
No big dogs.
I got a couple incidents when I was kid.
Younger
Yeah.
or working.
No, not working. When I was kid, but
Yeah.
but I'm okay. So.
I think I had that I had that happen to me when I was some 9-10 years old. It was actually my uncle's pit bull. He had just gotten the dog like some couple months before that incident, and I was walking with my older brother, and I remember this was like in the evening, so it was pretty dark, and I remember walking back towards my uncle's house. They were having a carne asada. And I just hear like the neighbors. There was some corner neighbors. We were out all the way at the corner. So from the corner, my auntie lived like some 5 or 6 houses down. And so we're walking down, and all I hear is the other corner neighbors, yelling, screaming. I turn around and I just see this dog just running towards, my brother and I. And my first instinct was, oh,
Kill it.
I'm about to get attacked. And my older brother kept his composure or whatever. And I took off running, and I went into a house where they had kind of a cinder block with fencing. And as I was about to hop on the cinder block to jump over the fence, this dog caught up to me and put a good chunk into my ass cheek. Yeah,
Is that why you only got one butt cheek?
Yeah, pretty much. And that stuff hurt, but I turned around immediately and I was able to kick him off, and he let go. And when I hopped over on the other side, the dog actually ran around the wall and went towards the other side, coming back for me. And so I ended up having to come back, and by that time, like, my uncle, had heard that his dog was loose, and he ended up getting the dog. And what's crazy too is that dog, I don't know, they ended up putting the dog down because my uncle's, he had another small dog, and that dog, the dog ended up killing the small dog. So they were just like, well, yeah, this is going to be bad if we continue. And I had my little baby cousin, their kid, who was super young, so they're like, nah, this is probably a bad idea. They end up putting them down. So, but yeah, that was the experience that I had with the dog attack. And
That was a sad
since
story.
then it was
The dog took his own carne.
it's pretty much. He had his little carne asada too.
Right.
Shit. But no, I was
Trying to
since
get out
then
the
I've been
cheeks.
scared of bigger dogs. I try not because you could, like, I don't know, they say that animals can smell fear and all that kind of stuff, but I try to maintain when I approach these new dogs and stuff, even cats. But
The small dogs in the homes, the one thing that does happen is, like, they let them run around, and they're not vicious or anything like that. But when we're taking all the heavy equipment out the attic and pulling it in, it's like the small dogs
It's
like
dangerous.
running across our
Yeah.
feet. It's like, oh my gosh,
it's dangerous.
grab your dog, please.
Yeah, the few times that you've done some of the work at my place, I'm like,
Oh yeah, your dog is tiny. Your dog is like this big.
I get annoyed of my dog myself when I'm like having to come in and out of the patio, and I'm like, nah,
It's like it's like a little hamster. I swear,
Yeah,
bro.
that
Did
is.
he have it before? though?
His dog is
Already?
tiny.
I don't think I've maybe
He's just sleep all day.
Little
I feel like
You-
he's tired.
You look at her and you're like, damn,
Pomeranian.
this dog is old.
Yeah, she's
She
old,
looks
bro.
hella old.
We just groomed her too, and they shaved her. Bro, she's like, God damn, man, you old. But yeah, that's pretty much it, man. We here at Best thank you guys for all the stuff that you guys do, for the company, for your coworkers, all the homeowners around the valley. Thank you for the time of kind of answering all these questions, providing some of the experiences, some of your guys' thoughts and processes on what homeowners are to expect on a day-to-day base, I guess, when they're going to actually have their systems replaced, serviced, or maintained. So yeah, thank you guys.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Gracias, Julio.